Well, that's the most energizing song. It's just, I love it. Now, I know that we talk a lot about how changing our thinking can change our life. And we do because it's a valuable thing for us to know. We do because it's our thinking that causes our life to be in the shape it's in. Our life, as we recognize it, can't happen to us. It has to happen through us because nothing recognizable as anything can come into our life in a visible way, in some way that we can see, without first being recognized as something in our mind. Thoughts are invisible things that float around in the ethers, so to speak, or in the invisible energy that we share in the energies of life. And they're up for grabs. Thoughts are invisible things. They're already there. And we get to choose them if we want them or ignore them if we want to. And it's our interpretation in the invisible energies within us. It's our interpretation that creates our individual experience. When we define those invisible thoughts by giving them meaning, we join with them in an energetic way, in a vibrational way that causes them to be attracted to us. And it is our power that we give to them to be able to become visible in our life. In other words, we individually proclaim that this is the way life is. This is the life I see by living it. And that's why no two people see life in exactly the same way. Every interpretation is unique in some way. We read in the Science of Mind, we know that thoughts are things, and that everything a man experiences visibly is the direct result of specific thoughts somewhere in his consciousness, somewhere in her consciousness. We can't experience anything visibly that isn't already within our awareness, or we wouldn't be aware of it. If a thought didn't have meaning to us, we wouldn't recognize it as anything at all, or associate anything with it, anything around us with it. We wouldn't say, I know what that is, and I know what that is, and most of the time we're not wondering what anything is. But if a thought didn't have meaning for us, it would float in our mind like a wispy cloud that had no definition at all, and we wouldn't pay attention to it. Just like we don't pay attention to most of the wispy clouds, because it wouldn't mean anything to us. We couldn't find a shape in it. For example, I'm pretty sure that any thought about calculus or organic chemistry or advanced computer technology that might float through my mind on its way to a scientist or a techie would look just like a wispy cloud to me. I wouldn't know what it was, and I'd ignore it. But just the other day, I was a passenger in a car, and I was looking out the side window as we were driving, and I saw the big, billowy pre-storm clouds that had formed in the sky, and the shapes seemed almost solid. They seemed so thick and so real. Because the contrast of the light and the dark, the shadows that the sunlight was creating, defined them so distinctly that it was easy to see that they were three-dimensional, and they all just seemed so alive. And like many of you, I'm easily entertained by nature. And so the clouds caught my attention, and one in particular caught my attention for quite a while, I have to say. And because it seemed to be moving along with the car. We didn't outrun it, didn't get ahead of us, didn't dissipate, just was hanging out there. And it looked to me like a gigantic Indian guru, floating on its stomach, looking down at the earth. And I was fascinated. And it didn't leave my sight, and it didn't change in form until our car actually turned and changed directions, and I couldn't see it anymore. And why am I mentioning this? Because it's those thoughts defined in our mind by the contrast of our life experiences that seem the most solid and alive within us. We focus on them because they look like something, and they have meaning for us. And they even seem to follow us around wherever we go, no matter how hard we try to outrun them. They don't leave our mental point of view unless we turn in another direction. And sometimes it's important for us to do just that. The longer we focus on specific thoughts, whether we feel good when we focus on them or we don't feel good when we focus on them, the more we give the power of our permission for whatever that thought means to us to enter into our visible space of experience in some way. Science of Mind goes on to say, we know that belief makes thought very powerful. We know that the word of man is the law of his life. If I say it's so, to me, it's so. And what I say is so becomes the law of my life. It's how I operate in the world. It's how we all do. Belief not only makes thought very powerful, it gives thought the only power it has in our life. The one thing that all the thoughts that we give our attention to in our mind have in common is our belief that they are real and solid. It's been said, your thoughts become your belief. And that's because a belief is just a thought we keep thinking over and over again. Your beliefs become your truth. Your truth becomes your story. Your story is your reality. If we say it's so to us. So we might want to ask ourselves this morning, what story am I telling with my life? Changing our thinking changes our perception of reality, and it changes the story of life we're telling. Our mind is the very instrument or mechanism of imagination. But most of the time, we forget that we're imagining what we see. That before we can see anything around us, we've already imagined what it means to us within us. That's pretty. That's icky. We see it and we call it because we've already decided within us what it means. The thoughts that seem the most difficult to change are those we've thought over and over again and defined with deep, heavy outlines of belief. They don't seem like they're going to go anywhere soon. It's our belief in the reality of what we're thinking that causes our life to confirm in form and expression and experience what we believe is true. And that's all that's going on. For example, if we believe we always get allergies in the spring and a cold in the winter, we likely will, because we always have. And that irritating person is likely to continue irritating us because they're an irritating person. I called it. And we'll never have enough time or enough money, no matter how soon we leave to go somewhere or how much money we save. And we think, but it's got to be true because it's my experience, but it's only our experience because we believe it's true. And that's how we change our thinking. Because we change what we believe is true. Though thoughts begin in the invisible within, it's our repetitive focus on and our attention to specific thoughts, positive or negative, life-affirming or life-lamenting, that causes our life to be in the shape it's in. We alone or in agreement with others give the invisible thoughts that are things already a powerful invitation to become visible things to us, to come into this world as form and expression. Life may not do anything to us, but it does everything for us. The shape of our thoughts shape our life. They visibly appear as our body, in our relationships with our family and friends, and in our day-to-day interactions with strangers. Even the way our car runs is affected by the thoughts we hold in our mind of what our car means to us. I mean, it can mean a reliable vehicle that gets us where we want to go or need to go. Or it can be a no-go. It can be a vehicle that runs out of gas in the middle of nowhere or is in constant need of repair. Or. We all know that car. Nothing that we view around us is exempt from the thoughts we think within us about it. Everyone, none of us are exempt from other people's thinking, and everyone we see and interpret is the product of our thinking. We could say that life in this world is a mind game, and that some of us feel like winners and some of us do not. Now, since intentionally saying yes, yes, yes to life brings experiences of life that we enjoy, attracts to us a life that reflects the true being that we are, that is filled with joy and peace and love, wouldn't it be lovely if we could learn how to unintentionally say no, no, no to the good things we want? Which brings us to the title of today's talk, Do the Unthinkable. I didn't forget. I knew where I was going with it. So how do we do the unthinkable when we are thinking beings who seem to think and overthink and sometimes drive ourselves crazy thinking? How do we do the unthinkable? Well, have you ever had a feeling, a good feeling? You just felt almost euphoric, that came over you for apparently no good reason? Ever felt like that? Just, whew, I feel happy. And maybe just for a moment or two, we felt unconditionally good. No reason. We were happy with it. But then we began to wonder, where in the world did that feeling come from? We tried to figure it out. And when we couldn't figure it out, no matter how hard we tried, we started not to feel so good anymore. We can talk ourselves out of every good thing. And the silliness we play in our mind causes us to miss out on the miracles of the moment. When we feel surprisingly good, unexpectedly good, it's a good idea for us to sit with that good feeling for a while. And just wait for positive, supporting thoughts to come to us, and rather than trying to figure them out and go out and find them in our mind or in the world. It's important for us to milk a good feeling and let the ways and means for our expressing it or experiencing it in the world come to us. Let it show up within us. Rumi wrote, "When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of stress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me, and without pain. From this I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me and attracting me." There is a great secret here for anyone who can grasp it. Ever marvel at how birds fly in formation and never bump into each other? Ever watched in awe as a huge flock of starlings moved in flawless unison and changed magically from dark to light as they danced across the sky? Isn't that just amazing? All creatures in this world, but we humans, move instinctively. If birds stopped to calculate every move, there'd be miscommunications and mishaps and birds falling from the sky everywhere. But they don't. Thank goodness. Because they're receiving unresisted communication from the unseen, broader perspective that is the source of their life. That unseen, broader perspective is the source of our life too. But our thinking causes resistance to that communication. We want to know how it's going to go, and maybe how it's going to end, and what we're supposed to do before we even start. But when we're saying yes to life and enthusiastic about life, there's no resistance in us because we're blending this outer expression of doing with our inner being of knowing. Our true self, the broader perspective within us that sees so much more about everything, so far ahead. Within, we are one with the all-knowing source of life. When we follow our inner guidance, we're not afraid to do the unthinkable. We don't have to figure it all out before we start to enjoy our life. We'll never figure it all out. It's a mystery. So we can start now and enjoy every moment of the unfoldment of that mystery through us. When a good feeling comes to us, when we've said yes to life, we can know that it is our spirit silently talking to us about something good. Science of Mind tells us, talk to yourself, not to the world. There is no one to talk to but yourself. For all experiences take place within. Conditions are the reflections of our own meditations and nothing else. Any moment that we think we lack, any moment that we actually believe that the source of our life isn't supporting us, any moment we think that we're alone, any moment we think that we're confused, all we have to do is to ask within ourselves, talk to ourselves, what am I thinking that my inner being isn't thinking? And what am I seeing that my inner being, my broader perspective, is seeing beyond? And then as we sit in our patience, softening those hardened edges of our belief with no resistance until they turn into wispy, meaningless thoughts. We're able to experience the broader perspective of life. A more cosmic view of what's true about ourselves in this life. We are unlimited beings forever. And the best way for us to use our perfect freedom is to embrace the place that we are, wherever we are, and bless it with a broader perspective than our physical eyes can see. in letting go of our human tendency to calculate and manipulate and try to figure out everyone and everything around us, we close the gap between the outer world of things and the inner world that shapes them. Jeff Foster, who is a prolific writer and beloved spiritual teacher, whose bio refers to him as a survivor of suicidal depression and chronic illness, wrote this: "Leave everything without definition, including yourself. Befriend uncertainty. Fall in love with the mystery. Kneel before the altar of not knowing. Give your questions time to breathe. And the answers will find you." Namaste. All right. This is the time of our service when we say out loud, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a way of saying yes, yes, yes to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here in person, for being where you are live stream, for finding us on our website or on YouTube, wherever you found us. We are glad that you did. Thank you. Thank you all, if you do this, for sharing our service or the video of the talk with your friends. It's a brave thing to do. They might just walk away and think you're cuckoo. But thank you if you do it. Because we don't know who we're going to touch when we do. And thank you for your financial support that has kept us here in this beautiful place for as long as it has. And we continue to be the Life Enrichment Center, a spiritual community of love because of your support. And wherever we go, your support is part of that journey. And so if you're wondering how you can join the journey and feel the enthusiasm and joy of setting free the energy, then our treasurer, Dr. Jamie Phillips, is here to tell you how.
Woo. I have to say, I love that talk.
Oh, well, thank you.
I always love the talks, but that was very cool. Okay. If you'd like to donate to the Life Enrichment Center, we'd love to have you donate to the Life Enrichment Center. And here's how you can do it. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Life Enrichment Center and hit the donate button. You can go to our website, lecflint.com, and hit the donate button. You can go to PayPal, and our email address is lec2512@gmail.com, and you can donate to us via that or via check to Life Enrichment Center, P.O. Box 321294, Flint, Michigan 48532. And in the sanctuary, it doesn't seem like, I know, it's all good. Yes, yes, yes. In the sanctuary, we will be doing an offertory while we listen to Nemo Patel and Daniel Namad singing Grateful, and then Reverend Stephanie will be up for a gratitude prayer. Thank you.